low transversal on the Arbitrator and start peppering away before the drones.
2, 1, fight.
Let's see how it goes. Yep, so the Rupture actually burning straight in, but we've got web effects on him immediately. He is putting some damage directly onto the Arbitrator. Very, very quickly we can see that landing, but already some damage starting to stack up onto the Rupture. In terms of drones, we can see a mixture of medium drones, which have come from the Arbitrator, and light drones from the Rupture. Although this Arbitrator is already into low structure! What is happening? Where are the reps? Where is the tank? There's no tank at all. The Arbitrator choosing to shoot at drones. This is a big, big mistake. The Arbitrator needs to put the full damage on this Rupture. It's far too late for him to be thinking about taking out drones. He may be able to mitigate some damage at this point. He's gotten himself quite close to this Rupture. He may be able to shut off some of the damage from the artillery, but the rapid light missiles are going to be a real serious problem. The Rupture now slipping into low armor. No reps appearing from either of these two competitors. Could this be a hull-tanked Arbitrator? This, in fact, might just be a hull-tanked Arbitrator, still holding on with about a third of his structure left. The Rupture slipping. The Rupture's definitely not hull-tanked. He's at about half structure. Who's it going to be? Can the Arbitrator pull it from the fire? No way!
Oh man.
Why are you still alive, man? That's not...
Let's see how it goes. Valley Takitsu burning down at an angle here, trying not to get too caught up, although immediately scrammed here by Archizer and already taking serious shield damage. Archizer just charging directly in, getting the scram and web on. We're seeing neuting effects going back and forth. We'll see who's got the stronger newts. Valley Takitsu sinking into low armor, having to pulse those reps really, really hard. Archizer using what looks to be an XL ASB. That's another indicator from those small guns. You know, you do have to sort of make some fitting sacrifices to fit that XL ASB. Is he going to be able to keep the thing running? He's going to have 9 big boosts to run through here. Valley Takitsu has already run a few of his reps, probably at least 1 or 2 charges off that ancillary medium armor repper. Can the medium armor reppers outpace the single extra large ancillary shield booster? I'm not sure. Valley sitting in at about half armor now. Archizer settling, sitting at about 70% shield, not taking a substantial amount of damage. What drones do we see from our competitors? We see ogres from both opponents. Yeah, ogres on both sides, hammerheads, and a hobgoblin from each. So the full DPS setup from each of these drones. Valley Takitsu already leaking structure deep into the armor, pulsing those reps as fast as he can. Is he going to be able to keep the pressure going? The damage is all but stopped on Archizer. Is he going to be able to put the damage back on? Archizer's shields are down. Can he run a... He's got the boost still. He's got at least 1 or 2 more charges off that shield booster. I haven't been keeping great track of it. Valley Takitsu really struggling to hold on here. Trying to pull some range, trying to get himself out of the danger zone while still applying damage onto Archizer. Archizer now sitting at about 1/4 shield. Could he be out of boosts? He's now taking armor damage. Valley Takitsu may have punched through this shield. Archizer gets a clutch rep there. Could he be bait tanking? Always possible. Valley Takitsu sitting low in his armor, starting to take a little bit more hull damage. Going to need to really overheat those reps. Cap is going to become a serious problem. Not going to be able to continue to run those newts continuously. Archizer's shields are down once again, beginning to take a little bit more of that armor damage, but Valley is super low. Is he going to be able to pull this one out of the fire? I don't think so. So let's see what the range control dictates for this particular match. Lakota seems to be going straight in on Cyrix Vexer. Cyrix appears to have done a turn. He's trying to pull some range, but he's now turning back around. These two are going to try to tackle each other at a range that's preferable for the engagement that they're looking to accomplish. Neither one running a propulsion mod from the look of things. Lakota sitting well within standard non-AD speeds. Cyrix doing the same. Lakota may be showing an afterburner with the speeds that we're starting to see here. Yeah, so but right now these two competitors, it doesn't look like anything is happening yet, but what's going on is that they're both sort of trying to settle into the range that they want to work from. Lakota's trying to keep the range at a little bit more of a distance, so that you can put some damage onto Cyrix early. You can see that Cyrix is beginning to take some damage. The drones are now out, so it looks that Lakota has a web, and Syrinx may not. Okay, so there's the web effect onto Lakota. And we can see Lakota now coming through his shields. And the drones appear to have been deployed from both competitors. No, I'm sorry, only one. We've got an Ogre out. And Hobgoblins. So the Hobgoblins are being deployed by Lakota's Vexor. The Ogres must have come from Syrinx. Syrinx already beginning to leak some armor. We're going to have to see if he's got a rep on there. No rep effects are coming across just yet. If Syrinx is struggling to get into range here and not applying damage... Oh, I see. Okay, so Syrinx is actually targeting the enemy drones. So he is shooting down some of Lakota's drones, trying to clear away the drone damage. The problem here being, of course, that the Vexor has just such a large drone bay that clearing away the full potential damage from the whole drone bay is a very difficult thing. We can see now both of these competitors going in straight on each other, coming in for the direct face-to-face charge. Who does this favor? Syrinx is already into his armor. Lakota not yet through the shields. Still applying a good substantial amount of damage from blasters onto Syrinx Vexor. Syrinx is slow to run those reps, probably holding back those ancillary rep charges until he feels he absolutely needs them. Conserve the cap, conserve the nanite, make this fight last as long as possible. Both of these competitors basically flying in all but a straight line. Light drones being deployed now from the Vexor. And we now see there are Hobgoblins and Hammerheads in abundance. Those are going to be from Syrinx Vexor. And we have, looks like at least one full flight of light drones. Hammerheads are all gone. So both of these opponents trading, using their light drones, keeping the heavy drones in the bay. Syrinx making a point to try to shoot down these light drones. That's going to be a big ask, even with a web on those drones. Going to have a hard time hitting them for full damage. We can see that he's only got a pair of his own light drones out. Going to have to be replenishing those from spares or deploying mediums to try to add to the damage. Right now, it's all light drones. So both competitors using only their light drones. Lakota also beginning to slip a little bit low into the armor. Again, holding back on the armor reps, trying to conserve the capacitor and the nanite charges of those ancillaries until the later part of this fight when that's really going to come into play. For the moment, it's just about careful drone management. These two competitors being very shy about deploying those heavy drones, keeping the major DPS close at hand until the time really comes for the play. Syrinx now getting low into his armor. He'll have plenty of reps left. Lakota, you can see, beginning to take a bit of substantial armor damage as well. And while we weren't looking, Syrinx just charged in on Lakota, got directly on top of him. These two are just trading volleys of blaster damage now. And now comes the conservative part of the fight is over. It's time to just go balls to the wall. Maximum rep, maximum DPS. Lakota bouncing through his armor. Syrinx still not taking substantial armor damage. Could Lakota still be trying to focus down enemy drones? It's unclear what the play is at this point. You see medium drones and light drones being deployed. No heavies from either side. Syrinx is now beginning to take some of that damage. You can see he's pulled away. He's trying to get some distance off of Lakota's Vexor. Going in for the rush charge, getting some serious damage on him, forcing Lakota to run those reps, and then pulling some distance. This is a brilliant, brilliant tactical flying from both of these pilots at this point. Syrinx just dominating the drone control war, but forcing him to run those reps a little bit more perhaps than he might want to. Holding now, you can see no rep effects playing at the moment, trying to conserve some of that capacitor. We now see we've got 2 Ogres and 2 Valkyries being deployed from Lakota. This is the serious part of the fight here now, whereas we have, looks like just Hobgoblins. Still just a couple of Hobgoblins out here from Lakota. Syrinx is now slipping deep into his hull. What happened there? He was late applying his reps. That could be a serious problem. Lakota going in for the dive bomb, going in for the kill. Syrinx hanging on to a shred of hull. Wow, some phenomenal flying, but in the end, the damage potential of 2 heavy drones coming into the play after Syrinx had run through probably most of those reps and just able to overwhelm him with the heavy drones. Well played by Lakota Helicon to pull the win. And let's see what happens. Arbitrator has Gotten a web onto the Vexor. Maybe no scram effects yet that we can tell. Vexor turning around, going straight in, trying to apply full damage. Using the high tracking ammo on railguns to try to score some major hits. Gaiusman taking serious shield damage. Magnus Solaris so far not seeing any damage landing on his Vexor. The Arbitrator of Gaiusman already taking serious armor damage. We'll see if we've got any reps coming across. Drones from both competitors. We can see Caldari Navy Wasp, Level 3 Valkyries, Hammerheads, a mixture of damage types spread across all flavors. Gaiusman slipping into his hull. This is in fact a hull-tanked Arbitrator. Magnus Solaris still untouched. Untouched as Gaiusman chooses to primary the enemy drones. Late deciding on switching over to Magnus Solaris' Vexor, putting real damage on him, but could it be too late? Already in about 1/4 hull, not sure if he's going to have the buffer to survive. Magnus Solaris getting a rep there late, showing us that he does have an active armor tank, but already taking some hull damage. Gaiusman slipping low into his structure. Can he pulse through the remaining armor reps? Get some serious damage? I don't think so. A tiny sliver of hull, and that's the end of that. Magnus Solaris with the railgun Vexor, showing us why it is important not to shoot at Vexor drones. Usually not the best play, and Gaiusman knowing that firsthand now. Congratulations to Magnus Solaris, advancing on. So as not to overboost and waste some of that potential rep.
3, 2, 1, fight.
And let's see how they do this. Lakota Elikon has gone, looks to be applying an overheated web, but is burning out in a straight line, choosing not to close the range just yet. You can see drones are out. At this point, Hobgoblins from Lakota and infiltrators from Archizer. Those drones have just been recalled, and now the Hobgoblins switching over and targeting Archizer's Vexor directly. Maybe switching back on and attempting to target. We see a heavy drone now deployed from Archizer's Vexor. Whether or not Lakota chooses to target those heavy drones, or if he's... Yep, so we can see that Lakota is shooting at the heavy drones. Archizer's heavy drones are the primary target. But those heavy drones doing serious work. Lakota already into a low part of his armor. Going to need to start running those reps pretty soon. Archizer so far feeling comfortable, not feeling the heat too much. Sitting pretty at about 85% shields. Lakota, meanwhile, taking the full brunt of the drone damage. Still trying to win the drone war. Focused entirely on the process of killing off enemy drones. Did see one drone go down. No ogres on field right now. May have been recalled. Infiltrators and Hobgoblins being the drone flavor of choice. Some Hammerheads there as well. Those are from Archizer. All of those drones, yeah, so Archizer's drones are full on shooting at Lakota. Lakota's using all of his drones to try to clear off some of those medium drones, reduce the incoming damage before switching the attack over onto Archizer. He's going to try to whittle away at as much of this potential damage as possible. We may in fact be seeing a double web setup on Lakota here, using one web to hold Archizer in a range where he can't close in too quickly or too comfortably, and then start to pick away at the drones. And now we can see that Lakota has switched damage and is applying nicely onto Archizer's Vexor, forcing him to run the first of those 9 XLASB charges we just saw a moment ago, and has comfortably repped himself back up to about full strength. And there comes the scram onto a Hobgoblin. We can see Archizer also choosing to target the enemy drones. Scramming and webbing an enemy drone is a nice way to prevent it from being able to evade, and we can see there goes a Hobgoblin now. Infiltrators still being the drone choice from Archizer. Those are now back over onto Lakota, who has recalled his own drones. Still keeping a web onto Archizer's Vexor, Lakota is, preventing him from closing the range, keeping him at arm's reach, focusing primarily on peeling away the damage from the enemy drones, clearing off as many of these smaller and medium drones as he possibly can before redirecting the full force of its attack back onto Archizer's Vexor. Archizer clearly just unable to close the distance. Looks like he might be going in for an overheated micro-warp drive. And Archizer gets the scram on Lakota Elikon, Lakota Elikon lost focus for just a moment, and that may be the deciding factor. Archives are able to get right up on top of him and now applying nicely into that tank. Lakota struggling a little bit. We see the boosts are coming in a bit from Archizer now as well. He's run 2 boosts already. Here comes the 3rd. Lakota, meanwhile, still pulsing those reps, still staying alive, but the tank is starting to break just a little bit, dipping into about 1/3 armor. There's the 4th boost from Archizer. We're going to see 5 more of those before he's completely out of charges. Can Lakota keep the reps running until he's out through those shield boosts? There's a 6th boost that may have been a bit of an overboost. Archizer a bit quick on the trigger finger there. Meanwhile, Lakota has actually managed to pull some range. Potentially an afterburner fit here, which is really, really good thing. Able to get some range on Archizer, mitigate some of the damage from those guns up close, and not have to struggle so much with the drone damage. Overwhelmingly, both sides have recalled all their drones. You can see Archizer only has 3 of those infiltrators, 2 infiltrators and 1 ogre out at this point. Lakota has deployed, appears to be his 3 remaining hobgoblins, and those are going to go straight on to the enemy ogre. He's going to try to break that ogre, but could he have done it? He may have just in fact broken through Archizer's ogre 2. He will likely have spares of those heavy drones, but this is a major thing. Archizer has initiated self-destruct on his Vexor. Could he be all out of drones? Could Lakota have won the drone war? And Archizer overplaying his hand, letting those heavy drones sit out there for a bit too long. Lakota now starting to burn in on Archizer. You can see putting the real damage onto him. The boost's not coming. There's a 6th boost. Still going to have at least 3 more of those boosts. Lakota is comfortably hanging at a high part of his armor. Archizer now running his 7th boost. 2 more for him before he's completely out of charges. Already slipping through a lot of that armor. No more shield boosts coming from Archizer. Breaking through into hull. Lakota may take this. Lakota charging in. And there's the win. Lakota Elikon and Shadow Cartel takes the day. Congratulations to Lakota Elikon winning out over Archizer. The XLASB play, a strong one, as we saw earlier in the tournament. However, drone management becomes absolutely paramount. And let's see how the plays go. Magnus Solaris immediately going for a U-turn and trying to pull some range. You can see immediately, though, getting a web on from Lakota's Vexor. May have been able to break through that web. Both of these ships appear to be afterburner fit based on their speeds. Webs applied on both. And we can see Lakota Elikon taking the brunt of the damage at the beginning of the fight. But again, probably choosing to go after these drones. No, again, now you can see Lakota actually is applying the majority of his damage onto Magnus Solaris' Vexor. Both of these opponents already slipping into armor. They'll both have reps. It's going to be a question of who can maintain their capacitor and run those reps at the right time. Both appear to just be ignoring the other's drones. Ogres being deployed from the Vexor of Lakota Elikon. Those are not yet into range. Right now, the only damage coming onto Magnus Solaris' Vexor comes from these light drones. And we can see now that drones have been recalled. Magnus Solaris has recalled all those drones. He's already through most of that armor. Both competitors taking hull damage. Lakota, however, repped back up nearly to full armor. Magnus Solaris already leaking hull. Gonna need to start pulsing those reps, try to stagger them a little bit, get some damage on. But could this actually be a full tanked Vexor? It is possible. Lakota gets a big reps back up to about half armor, but may not be able to hold out, but there it is. That went back and forth for a few seconds there. A clear winner was not obvious, but both competitors opting not to go for the drone war and just going to apply straight damage onto the opponent. And Lakota Elikon tanking through, carefully running the reps and the capacitors, and able to manage it just long enough to keep himself alive and to secure the victory. Save his full clip damage with Fury missiles. We'll see how it goes. Right away, Sirix making a quick U-turn, trying to close the distance. Meanwhile, the Caracol burning out at angle, trying to keep the distance. Distance is the key to his survival. Putting missile damage into Sirix Vexor immediately. May want to choose to hold some of those missiles back to go after drones. Questionable whether or not that's the choice he's going to make. We'll see. At this point, though, untouched by those drones, kiting them nicely, applying all of the missile damage onto Sirix Vexor. Sirix now running some of those reps. We'll see how much pressure the rapid light flip is able to put out before that volley stops. We're going to keep our camera focused here and watch this Vexor as he attempts to close the range. Both competitors clearly using micro-warp drives. Valley in the Caracol a little bit faster right now than Sirix in the Vexor. If this is a nanofiber fit Caracol, then that could give him the speed advantage that he needs. A little bit of shield damage coming in from drones, not a substantial thing for Valley to have to worry about just yet. Sirix still holding now, but starting to see some of the pressure from those missiles. Should be reaching near the end of that clip, but Sirix is starting to leak through into his hull and take a bit of hull damage, which is a bad sign. If he's using the Tech 2 damage missiles here, then Valley Ticket 2 may just be able to pop through all of these armor reps and break him through. The missiles will fall silent here any moment, however, to hit that really long reload. Meanwhile, Sirix did manage to rep up almost all of that damage. And now the question is going to be, what is Sirix going to do about this? It's clear that he doesn't have the speed to catch this Caracol. He's not able to tank this damage long term. The drones aren't able to catch onto the Caracol and apply any real substantial damage. However, the Caracol speed seems to have dropped off a little bit. The drones have caught up and applied a bit of shield damage. Any moment now, these missiles are going to run dry, and Sirix is going to hope and pray that he can manage a reload of his own on an ancillary, or otherwise, have we all been fooled? Sirix not able to tank. The missile's too strong. Could that Caracol actually have been using heavy assaults? I think those were actually heavy assault missiles and not rapid lights. It's the only reason that those missiles kept firing for as long as they did.
3, 2, 1, fight.
Okay, so Admiral Togo going in for a vertical burn here, trying to close a bit of range. Caracol making a hard turn, trying to keep the range where he wants it, blasting through with those missiles, punishing this armor on this rupture here. See if either of these competitors have any kind of reps. Archives are already dealing with a low shield. Again, those rupture volleys, when they hit, will hit hard. But we can see that we do have an active tank on Archives' Caracol. So far, no signs of a rep coming from Admiral Togo's rupture. Pretty late in the game for him to not be running that rep. If he doesn't have a rep, then it could just be a matter of time here. We'll see how quickly Archives is able to run through that missile damage. We do have a flight of hobgoblins here, which are a bit slow, hard to keep up with the Caracol, aren't going to be applying full damage the whole time. Yet still no reps coming across from Admiral Togo. Archizer, in the meantime, however, has managed to rep back almost all of his shields. Admiral Togo about to slip into hull, but you can see that the missiles have gone silent. Archizer's missile clip is empty, and this is the point where Admiral Togo is going to need to make a major play here, get some serious damage onto Archizer as quickly as he can before those missiles reload. He's got about 35 seconds of unanswered damage that he can put onto him, but he's sitting down with a tiny sliver of armor left and just his remaining structure as a tank. Is he going to be able to put any serious damage onto this Caracol and break through that active tank before those missiles start firing again? Meanwhile, the hobgoblins are swarming, doing negligible damage, however, and the missiles are back, and we can see that Admiral Togo is going to go pop any moment now. The rapid light's too strong for the armor buffer, and Archizer takes it. Admiral Togo has brought much shame and dishonor to the Icefire Warrior's name. I will be mailing Punchbug directly to tell him of your miserable performance. And Archizer advancing on. Alright, so right away the Arbitrator making a quick turn trying to close the gap onto this Vexor. Already we can see some drones out. We've got Wasps being deployed from this Vexor, and the Arbitrator slipping through those shields. Meanwhile, Valley Tikitsu's Vexor holding strong so far, starting to take some armor damage. Heavily scrammed and webbed for sure. That sounds like autocannon and missile effects coming off of this Arbitrator, doing full damage onto this Vexor, no doubt about that. The Arbitrator, though, slipping into the lowest part of his armor. Do we have yet another hull tanked Arby? We certainly do. But he's already into that hull buffer. Meanwhile, Valley Tikitsu holding strong, comfortably wrecking through the damage here. Using his drones to full effect, not even bothering to target the enemy drones of Usman's Arbitrator, just going for the kill, blood in his eyes. And is he going to be able to punch through before these reps get overwhelmed? It certainly seems that way. Usman now slipping into the half-hull mark, but the damage beginning to pile onto Valley a little bit. You can see he's starting to run those reps a little bit more regularly, catching himself back up to near the full armor mark. Usman at this point, though, down into about 1/10 of his structure remaining. A close brawl, but Valley Tikitsu is going to take it over Usman's Arbitrator. Some ballsy plays there from that Arbitrator, but just not enough to overcome the Vexor. Congratulations to Valley Tikitsu for a convincing win. And Archives are slow to get moving there. Coming online very late. Valley Tikitsu appearing to overheat that micro warp drive to try to close in the range, start getting some damage onto him early. Valley being the only one taking any damage at this point. We can see that the missiles just not quite reaching Archizer in the first few volleys, but now that he's in range, you can see how much more damage those hams are doing, breaking right on through that shield of Archizer. Does he have a rep? It doesn't seem so. There's the rep coming in and pushing him back up to around 50% shield. This could be an XLASP. We may be seeing some XLASP charges coming through here. That would be 2 reps there. Valley Tikitsu slipping down into the danger zone, part of the shield, below the peak recharge at the 25% mark, now down to 15. Archizer still bouncing comfortably. Has taken a fair chunk of armor damage, but he's able to rep back through. Valley Tikitsu not so. Taking real damage now. The damage may drop off, however, before Valley Tikitsu's armor completely wears away. He may in fact have an armor buffer. It does look like Valley Tikitsu has memed us all with the armor buffer Caracol. Archizer, meanwhile, running through those boosters at a rapid rate. We may see him run through the remainder of those booster charges any moment now. Valley Tikitsu holding at about 50% armor, and there you can see that the light missiles from Archizer's Caracol have gone dark. He's hit that 35-second reload time. Valley Tikitsu hoping to capitalize on this moment, put as much damage onto Archizer as he possibly can, break through that shield. The damage has slipped off a little bit. Can he break through? The missiles are back on, and Valley is in low structure. Not going to be able to pull this one out of the fire. Archizer taking the win with the mirror match Caracols, Rapid Lights, winning out over Heavy Assaults. Congratulations to Archizer taking the win. I'm thinking maybe the Caracol wins this one. So range control, less of a strength for the Caracol in this matchup because of the potential damage from those railguns. We can see right away the missile damage rapidly punching through the shields of Magna Solaris' Vexor, starting to chip away through the armor. We'll see he's going to need to start running those reps sooner or later, but already big chunks of shield disappearing off of Archizer's Caracol. The railguns, the Caracol flying in what appears to be nearly a straight line. Not getting any kind of transversal, taking serious damage from those railguns, even before the drones are all over him. You see Republic Fleet Valkyries plenty fast enough to catch this Caracol. Now running those boosts, we can see that first shield boost just applied. Meanwhile, Magna Solaris has reps applying, comfortably holding it around the 50% armor mark, but he's not going to be able to stay at that level forever. Slipping a bit lower, but repping himself back up before applying a bit more damage. Now we see the Caracol making a hard turn, trying to get some transversal velocity, prevent those major hits from coming in across with those railguns. Caracol just very fast. His Vexor just not quite fast enough to catch, but that may be an overheated web hitting the Caracol. He may have gotten an overheated web, I can't quite tell. Let's get the camera back over there, shall we? No, he did not. Okay, so the Caracol managing to break away. Vexor has repped himself back up to nearly full armor. There's our full armor. But at this moment, we can see that the Caracol is through his missiles. The reload has completed. He's firing again. But did have to run those boosts a few times during that part of the fight. Meanwhile, the Vexor now through armor, not running his reps in time, catching reps very, very late. Just a tiny little sliver of armor, and that's gone in no time. Will he be able to tank through another reload? I'm not sure. The clip of a Caracol with a rapid light launcher is around 20 volleys. But if he can't get some of those reps on in a big hurry, he's going to have a serious problem here. We do see a web is hitting this Caracol. Could this mean that the Vexor has managed to land tackle, breaks through that overheated web, and he's picking up speed? Missiles are still firing. Caracol comfortably holding at around 90% shields. The Vexor just getting a rep super late. The tiniest little sliver of structure is gone. And our Kaiser, with the rapid light Caracol showing us how it's done. Keeping range, avoiding the serious damage potential. Our Kaiser from the Repo Industries versus Lakota Elikon, member of Shadow Cartel by way of Beyond Divinity, preparing to show us how elite tournament competitors fight. Who's going to take home the grand prize? Will it be Lakota Elikon and the extremely strong Blaster Vexor, or the surprisingly strong Rapid Light XLASB fit Caracol?
4, 3, 2, 1, fight.
And we're underway. Caracol getting off to a slow start, not immediately charging right in. The Vexor, you can see, pulling some range, opting to go for a longer range. Now you can see him making a U-turn, turning back in, but look again at those missiles, breaking through some of those shields. And now it seems that the missiles may have switched off from the Caracol already. Perhaps... No, there they are, okay. Alright, so still firing missiles directly onto the Vexor of Lakota Elikon, choosing to focus all of the damage there, ignoring the drones. And we can see, again, these Tech 2 missiles putting a lot of damage onto Lakota Elikon, already into the lowest part of armor, taking hull damage. Meanwhile, though, the drones have caught up to our Kaiser, and they're doing real damage, forcing him to run those boosts. Lakota managing to rep back up, but he's already lost a chunk of his hull. This is going to be something that's going to come back to haunt him in the later part of this fight. We can see now that the missiles have gone dark on this Caracol. He's hit that 35-second reload. Lakota going to have to think carefully about how he wants to play in these moments, choosing to target the enemy drones, knowing that this Caracol does not have room for spare drones, mitigating a little bit of that damage, but is it going to be enough? Managing to rep back nearly to full strength before switching targets and burning back in. Now you can see the missiles coming back over from our Kaiser. Very, very strong amount of damage here. The drones appear to have been shot down, but is it going to be enough? Lakota Elikon really struggling to keep those reps alive, forcing his way through. Our Kaiser's missiles have gone silent. He hasn't already hit another reload, has he? The missiles have gone silent on our Kaiser's Caracol already. What is happening? Meanwhile, the drones have caught up to this Caracol and are starting to chip away at this impressive shield tank. The Vexor, ignoring the remaining Caracol drone, now he may be going in for the tackle. Could he get the scram and web onto this Caracol? He's got a web applied to this Caracol. Lakota Elikon now able to bring his blasters to bear, but the missiles are back on, and the armor is chipping away. There can't be many of those rep charges left if Lakota Elikon is running that medium ancillary rep. There's only so much charge that he has left. Meanwhile, our Kaiser showing us that he's kept some charges in reserve for this exact reason. But now that the Vexor is on top of him, a substantial amount of damage going to be coming across. Will it be enough? Already, the armors are gone. Lakota Elikon into the lowest part of his structure. Catching reps, but catching them very, very late. Our Kaiser repping nearly back to full shield, but only a handful of those boosts could possibly be left. The drones are swarming. The Caracol is basically stopped dead in its tracks. And once again, the missiles may have gone silent. This is a huge moment for Lakota. Can he break through that remaining shield booster charge before the missiles come back and obliterate what remaining shred of structure he's got? see he's rapidly repping himself back up to full armor, trying to give himself the best possible chance of surviving the remaining missile volley. But these missiles are going to be coming back on in any moment, and he may still have a charge or two left in that shield booster, slipping down to about 15% shields. We'll see in any moment now, the shields have gone. There's no more boosts coming across. Late into the reload, already the armor is chipping away. No more missiles coming across from this Caracol. It may just be too late. Missiles now returning fire. Lakota Helicon holding, and it's Lakota Helicon! And we have a blue explosion.
That was great.
Thanks for these nights. Okay. Hang on.
Congratulations to Lakota Helicon
I'm gonna have to kill you.
with a crazy win at the tiny little sliver of structure remaining, tanking through those rapid light volleys, getting damage onto that Caracol in the moments that mattered, breaking through the tank. Congratulations to Lakota Helicon with a major prize up for grabs. You're the one to take it home. Congratulations to Lakota Helicon and to all of Shadow Cartel. You have brought pride to the mothers of
You beat me
all
twice.
of your pilots.
That's right. Yo, it's time to get big, you know what time it is. Trying to make this real money, I can retire with. Living in the paradise, most good in the vision. My mind state is a criminal's ambition. I've been doing it for a minute, preparing for this situation. It's finally here, getting paid off of my patience. The crew is here, run with bundles of bandits. It's about to get crazy, preparing for straight jackets. This heist is bigger than anything that we ever did. If we succeed, we can even take care of our kids. I want them raised right now, need this life of mine. I must admit though, I'm loving this life of crime. Plan out exactly what's gonna happen on blueprints. Make sure everything goes smooth, no need for nuisance. Speak with a loud tone, seriousness on my face. For 3 months I've been casing this place. There isn't any way you better mess up this mission. Cause if you mess it up, then you'll be the one that end up missing. Time to turn into a monster like Space Jam. And shooting my way out is my only escape. Yo, it's time to get big, you know what time it is. Trying to make this real money, I can retire with. Living in the paradise, most good in the vision. My mind state is a criminal's ambition. Yo, it's time to get big, you know what time it is. Trying to make this real money, I can retire with. Living in the paradise, most good in the vision. My mind state is a criminal's ambition. Get casual, we dress like we ready for war. With money on the mind, ready to settle the score. Walk-ins, guns blazing, you better not be testing me. And if you do, you must have suicidal tendencies. Silence is on the weapon so no one else can hear. From inside here, rest of the world disappears. Going for the loot, nothing else in our way. Drop the drill, my skill was ready to crack the safe. 300 seconds is separating me from paradise. And if you get in my way, you end up paralyzed. This ain't a cash heist, gold bars is the plan. It's like King Midas is part of who I am. We leaving here with more than 10 mil. And to be quite honest, didn't require that much skill. Everything was planned perfect, no one even copped out. This was way too easy, how the hell can I stop now? Yo, it's time to get big, you know what time it is. Trying to make this real money, I can retire with. Living in the paradise, most good in the vision. My mind state is a criminal's ambition. Yo, it's time to get big, you know what time it is. Trying to make this real money, I can retire with. Living in the paradise, most good in the vision. My mind state is a criminal's ambition.